The rental application process can be an absolutely delicate one because of the implications it has in the long term. On one hand, you could have the best tenant ever who never gives you issues. On the other hand, you could have a tenant who turns out to be a total nightmare. Hi everyone, I'm your host Andrew Chung, and in today's video, we go to Big Sky Country, Montana. For a Montana landlord, a rental application document is the first step in a screening process that hopefully better understands the potential an applicant displays as a renter. To choose a tenant, a landlord has to craft proper documentation, keeping in mind the requirements for criminal history, rental history, and a credit check. Also, the legal element has to be factored into the rental equation. Just a disclaimer, if you need specific legal advice, consider speaking to a lawyer or a real estate manager to answer any questions you may have. Montana landlords have quite a bit of wiggle room in deciding what they want to find out from potential tenants. The rental application form is supposed to be a reasonable look into someone wanting to become a tenant on your property. Some of the items you may request include a written consent for a credit check, personal information of every intended tenant, income details, employment information, rental history, and personal references. Now, while you want to rent to a good tenant, you can't just ask anything in Montana. Reason is, the Federal Fair Housing Act, or FHA, sets limits where items would be considered discrimination. So you cannot request the following protected classes of information from prospective renters. These include nationality, race, color, familial status, disability status, sex, and religion. At the state level, Montana prevents a landlord from asking prospective renters about their marital status, creed, or familial status. Now let's talk about background checks. It's natural for landlords to want to know who their potential renter will be when it comes to a rental contract. For example, you don't want to rent or lease a space to someone who can't afford to pay. That's where the background check element of the screening procedure comes in. Criminal history element helps a landlord find out if there are any records the potential tenant has in the state's database or at the national level. The credit history check can offer a lot of insight into an applicant who has indicated an interest in a rental offering. This information includes things like past credit inquiries, income, and past addresses. Keep in mind that potential tenants must provide written consent before these reports may be generated. Also, a Montana landlord will have a vested interest in the rental history report of a possible tenant. Eviction data is preserved for up to 7 years. Now, let's talk about application fees. No Montana law limits the amount a landlord can require as an application fee for a rental offering. That doesn't mean a landlord can go overboard with this though. What about security deposits? Well, security deposits work a lot like application fees. No Montana law puts a cap on what a landlord may request of a potential tenant as a security deposit. In a typical rental agreement, the landlord will request 1 or 2 months rent. Keep in mind, no law requires a landlord to provide a receipt to a tenant for security deposit, and the holding requirements that are often similar to rental situations in other states are non-existent here. So you've selected your lucky applicant and the documents provided have been approved, and now the person will go through the process of becoming an official tenant. As a part of this, the landlord must set up a lease agreement. There are 2 ways to go about this: a standard agreement between landlord and tenant, and a customizable agreement between landlord and tenant. On that note, it's important to understand the line of responsibilities between a tenant and a landlord. Based on the Montana Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, landlords must do the following. They must ensure building compliance with state and local codes, keep common areas reasonably safe, effect necessary repairs to keep the rental premises fit, and ensure the tenant has the names and contact information of the landlord or designated agent if applicable. And here are the tenant's responsibilities. The tenant must pay the agreed rent, security deposit, and utility costs, properly dispose of all garbage, keep the premises clean, and comply with all local, state, and federal regulations. Now, let's switch gears and talk about adverse action notices. After getting the required consent to do background checks, you may find out information that may make you want to take adverse action against an applicant who hoped to rent your space. These actions include higher rent requirements, increasing the security deposit, rejecting the application, or establishing a requirement for a co-signer. Now, you cannot carry out these actions without first giving the notice in writing to the potential tenant, who has 60 days to file a dispute. So let's wrap this up. From getting consent to handling security deposits and more, the rental application workflow can be a very tedious one to complete. But what if you didn't have to bear the full responsibilities alone? You should consider adding DoorLoop to the mix to benefit from a host of tremendous services, such as application customization and design, listings, and even tenant screening. Just a disclaimer, I work at DoorLoop, and this video was produced by DoorLoop. And one last thing. Here are some frequently asked questions. Number 1, are there ever exceptions to the items a landlord is barred from asking about on the Montana rental application form? The answer: yes, there are in very specific circumstances. For example, in age-restricted living, asking for someone's age may become relevant. Number 2, what is a fair application fee requirement of a potential tenant? The answer: the application fees are meant to cover any costs the landlord would incur during the processing and screening phase. You could consider setting up your charge based on this. And number 3, where can eviction record details be accessed? The answer: eviction details in Montana are a part of the public record. You may find them by visiting the Montana Supreme Court docket search. Well, that's it for this video. If you want more real estate content for your business, make sure you check out our YouTube channel for more DoorLoop videos, such as apartment turnover checklists and the complete guide to late rent fees for landlords. Remember to like this video, share it, and of course, subscribe to our channel.